Hello everybody, welcome back to the KenCast. It's been actually it hasn't been that long. I actually don't know how long it's been. I don't remember the last time I posted a KenCast. How's everyone doing? I'm just gonna assume that it's been a long time since the last one, because it's always been a long time since the last podcast, really. So yeah, I decided to jump back into this. For me, it's been a relatively tumultuous time, at least in my life. Right, a lot of things have happened. I'm personally on, I guess you could call it a journey to improve oneself. Um, Self-discovery, that sort of thing. Right. Recent events have led to that, and in this time, I've had copious amounts of time to think, to reflect, and in the future, fingers crossed, a lot of time to improve. So, in all of this, it's been a bit taxing on me. I've been tired, I've been exhausted, I've been lazy. Exhausted, the same as tired. I've been lazy, I've been, distraught, languid, even hopeless sometimes. I'll be honest with you guys. It's not easy to try to, when you have a certain set of tools that you work with through life, right? When you know that those tools oftentimes lead to bad things happening, right? Like, for instance, a habit might be that you, let's do something harmless, like you drink coffee, right? The habit you have, you drink coffee. But your coffee drinking habits, right? I guess can sometimes lead to you not having a decent night's sleep. So you try to work on that. Except the only way you know how to go to sleep is to, the moment you abstain off of coffee, right? That tool you have, then things sort of go haywire for a good bit, right? So you need tools, something to sort of, at least, if not fill that gap, to substitute for it, something like that, right? Except this is with significantly more serious things in my case. Or slightly more serious things in my case, whether that be for a lot of my friends, depression, maybe some of them are taking antidepressants, maybe some of them have tendencies of, whatever, anything like that, right? So, I have no idea where I was going. I've been going on. Nonetheless, I'm doing better. And I realized that I should, I was like, what could I do in this time? It's like 12, 6. I always do these at the most ungodly times. It's a little past midnight, and I find myself alone. Everyone's asleep, unless my brother decides to wake up at a also ungodly time. Yes, he's asleep. He might wake up. That's how we are in this age, I suppose. So I was like, you know what? I was reading through Genshin Impact's books, and I was like, man, this shit is very relaxing to me. It's fun to read, because I'm a dude who would have guessed I like to listen to my own voice, right? Now, I know how that sounds, a little narcissistic. That's fair. But I love talking to myself. It's how I think, it's how I cope, it's how I understand things to a degree, right? And of course, people have told me, Kenny, you got a really good voice, you got a good voice, that's why you should do a podcast. I think I went over, you guys know this, if you guys have listened to the previous podcast, or somehow even remember, right? So yeah, I do like listening to my own voice. So I was like, you know what, let's just record myself reading stuff. Hopefully, if other people are having tumultuous times, difficulty sleeping, they can listen to these relatively mundane, hopefully, stories. I haven't read them myself, so we'll pick a couple random ones. I know that this story of Genshin, the side stories, the little notes scattered here and there are intriguing, interesting, and sometimes a little intense, sometimes very wholesome, that sort of thing, right? So I was like, screw it, let's read some. Hopefully it can help someone else if they're in a bad time. I have brewed myself a delicious, piping thermos of water. I don't drink coffee or tea. Actually, on campus, I started drinking some hot chocolate. That shit is delicious. I'm just saying. I love hot choco. My friends make fun of me because I call it hot choco. They call me cute. I'm like, that's fair, I suppose. But there's a slight problem with when I do this. So what I did is I put in like a boiling apparatus. Yep. And I poured it into my thermos. The problem is I did this like a few minutes before the podcast started. So, oh boy, it's a little hot. But the reason why I want to do this is because, as you know, as amazingly beautiful, luscious, golden, smooth, whatever you, I don't know, however you want to describe my voice. It actually, like, you know, I can't talk forever. My voice dies. So I was like, the best way I found to you know, get back my voice is 1, sleep, 2, a very warm or hot drink, or 3, eating something that's allergic and make my throat swell. Somehow that works. Strange story behind that one, actually. Before we get into the the stories, right? There was I don't know what I'm allergic to in this regard. I know I'm allergic to eggs. I'm allergic to some seafoods. I think I'm very, very, very mildly allergic to like banana, avocado, honeydew, maybe? I don't think I'm allergic to watermelon, amazingly. But, you know, I'm allergic to those things. One thing I'm, like, the biggest allergy is eggs, because when I eat eggs, you know, my throat swells, right? Nothing dangerous. I could eat a whole egg and be okay, as in I wouldn't have to go to the hospital. I wouldn't bank on eating more than one, but it's a fine. I'm not sure whether or not I dislike eggs because I simply dislike eggs, or because I dislike eggs because I'm allergic to them. Either way, I'm not eating any of them anytime soon. But this happened like a year ago back. I had like a protein bar, right? And I remember eating it. I was like, this shit tastes disgusting. This is absolutely disgusting. I hated eating it. And so I was like, I don't want to waste it, so I'll just hork it down. You can tell where this is going. And so as I'm eating it, my throat is starting to swell. I'm like, oh shit, I've made a mistake. I'm only halfway through the bar, by the way, so this shit's going fast. And then I'm like, you know, hey Ryan? It's like, yeah, Dad? Mm-hmm. I think I ate something I'm allergic to. And it's like, okay, how are you feeling? I'm like, my throat is swelling, and I think I need some antihistamines. And so they got me some antihistamines. And they were very prepared, at least I think, now in retrospect, or hindsight, not retrospect, right? That there's a good chance they were very prepared to just take me to the hospital. But, like, you can't, like, hold your breath for that long. That's not how that works. So I probably should have planned this out a little more. Right? I don't have an EpiPen. I don't have... So you can tell I'm not very good at taking care of myself in this regard. But, nonetheless, let's say, I ate this, and it was like... Oh, I'm so sorry about that. That must have been extremely loud. I apologize. Rest in peace to those who are using headphones. I can't hear this. I don't know what I'm hearing. So if that really is terrible, I apologize. But, where was I? Yes, so I was... My throat swelled up a lot. As you can tell, I was fine, or I became fine after an hour and a half, because I threw up the food after like a good hour, and then I felt a lot better after I threw up the food. So that was good. But the wonderful thing, the silver lining, the silver lining in all of this was that afterwards, I had a really, really deep voice, right? Like an extremely deep voice. And it was so, like, my voice was so smooth. It had never been this smooth before. So I remember recording videos of my voice, and I'm like, this is insane. It reverberates through my whole skull like I've never heard before. And it was a lot of fun. So that's the one silver lining I got out of that experience. Was I an idiot? Yes. Could you reprimand me for my action because I could have died there? Also yes. But, meh, it's in the past, no biggie. Alright, let's see. Oh my god, it's so hot. Oh my god, it's so hot. Okay. Um, okay, we're gonna unscrew the cap. This is now an ASMR thing. Gosh. You know, it kind of makes sense. Being an engineer now, I took thermodynamics, the study of heat transfer, essentially. Even though heat transfer is a whole separate class, but anyway, it's like the study of like the flow of energy, I suppose, right? And you can tell I didn't learn very much from that class, but that's my mistake. That's not anyone else. That's my mistake. But you know, seeing like how much energy water holds, that sort of thing. You know, who would have guessed that a thermos is really, really good at insulating this? So anyway, I'm currently on Genshin, and I'm looking for books that I have. Period. So let's see. We have the Mondstadt Tower, The Legend of Vanessa, The Hilly Trail Ballad, Diary of Roll the Adventurer. Like, I'm trying to think of one that's, you know, oh, my Lanta. Okay, this one has 11 volumes. I don't know if I can do this one. My voice can't take that one. Let's do something a little more cute. Okay, sorry. Allow me to desperately attempt to drink this water. Oh my gosh, it's so hot. I'm like burning my tongue. Should I get... I have an idea. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get an ice cube so you guys can just chill here and listen to the sound of silence for like 30 seconds. Yeah. Okay. I got 3 tiny ice cubes. It's definitely ASMR now. These ice cubes are going away instantly. I'm just drinking it at the top, where it's ever so barely warm enough or cool enough to where I can drink it. Nonetheless, let's see. This is someone's diary. Let's do this one. This one seems kind of cute. Actually, I would do this one if it wasn't 6 volumes long. No, let's do it. Let's do it. This will be a fun one. So, snuggle up. It's story time. I think it's Dum Dum or Dong Dum Dum. I'm not sure. It's Dong Dong, but that's kind of funny, isn't it? Dear Dong Dong, time flies, doesn't it? It's been nearly 3 months since I left. Do you miss me? I do hope you're going to bed on time and not causing any trouble for Grandma and Grandpa. I'll be back from Inazuma very soon, and I promise when I get back, I'll take you to see the Crux's ship down at the harbor. I won't let you down this time. Dong Dong, do you remember the beach at Yaoguang Shoal? Well, I went there and I collected lots and lots of beautiful golden sand. More than I could carry by myself. When I'm back, we should buy up the local mill and make some fresh tofu every single day. Although, I'd rather use all this gold to buy a house in Liyue Harbor. A huge house with a splendid sea view. I'll let you decide how to spend it when I'm back. How does that sound? Hey, guess what? Just opposite Luhua Pool at the Guili Plains, there's an enormous cliff. And what did I find there? A ruin guard. He was just sitting there, slumped over, completely still. He didn't even flinch in the thunder and lightning, not even when the rain was pelting down on him. And then I realized, he must be sleeping. So I climbed up on top of him, threw my arms around that big old head of his, and twisted it as hard as I could. Wow, that sounds horrifying. Why would you do that? Oh my gosh, imagine doing that. Anyway, there was a clunking noise, followed by a loud boom, and suddenly his head fell off and rolled straight off the cliff. It smashed into 1 billion pieces at the bottom. Shame, really. Otherwise, I would have brought it home as a trophy, and you could have had a proper close-up look at what a ruined guard's head looked like. Imagine that. I also went to Joy and Karst. I must take you there when you're older. The scenery there is incredible. The billowing clouds look like an ocean, and the waterfall is infinitely better than the one in Chinksa village. And you can sometimes catch a glimpse of the realm of the Adepti in the mountains. You can't begin to imagine how beautiful it is. And guess what? You're not going to believe this, but I met a real-life Adeptus. We sat and drank together, chatting and laughing away. The Adeptus gave me a gift, too, a magic wine bottle. All you need to do is blow on it, and an infinite supply of wine will flow from the inside. You mustn't touch it, though. Do you understand? You're way too young to drink. When you're older, though, all my treasures will be yours to do with as you please. My adventures in Liyue are coming to an end. It's time for me to head to the harbor, where I'll hop on the Crux's ship and sail off to somewhere even farther away. I'm excited to see what wonderful sights and valuable treasures are waiting for me at the next stop, and I can't wait to share them all with you. Until then, Dong Dong, please make sure you go to bed on time every night. Don't eat too many sweets, they'll rot your teeth. Please also be nice to your grandma and grandpa. Seriously, don't do anything to make them mad. And no fighting. I'll be home soon. Lots of love, Dad. That's volume 1, right? I think this is fine. I think it's wonderful. It's very cute. Very, very cute. Side note, I tried coffee with my friend. He's I wouldn't say a coffee addict, but he drinks a lot of coffee. And I tried coffee again because I was of the impression that when you get older, your taste buds are supposed to change or something. Yeah, mine didn't change at all. I still hate the taste of coffee. It's bitter to me. It's just not fun to drink. I still have a sweet tooth. I love hot chocolate. Who would have guessed? Alright, back to it. Volume 2. Yao Guang Shou. The fog is setting in again. The idea of panning for gold here has turned out to be a complete waste of time. I should have known not to trust this old mining crew. It must have been several decades since the last of them retired. Every last bit of information they gave to me is completely out of date. Useless. This is turning into a complete farce. I would say I'll be going home empty-handed tonight, but the chances of me finding my way home at all in this fog, well, it's looking slim. I hope Dong Dong's eaten dinner. I can hear Hilichurl somewhere in the distance. I have no idea where I'm going in this fog, so I suppose I'll just focus on walking away from the Hilichurl's voices. Hopefully I'll make it out alive. I don't know how long I've been walking in this fog. I don't even know if it's daytime or nighttime. Hang on. Are those silhouettes? Oh my good grace of the Geo Lord, maybe I can join them along and find a way out of here. Whew, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm saved. On closer inspection, the silhouettes did look like friendly characters. I decided to set up camp here and wait for them to leave before figuring out my next move. I'm gonna have to go back the way I came. Egats, I can hear Hilichurls all around me. I should definitely... Alright. Getting kind of spicy. That's volume 2. Volume 3. Guili Plains. What a string of bad luck. I finally made it out of that Hilichurl camp alive, only to end up nearly being killed by a ruin guard. I'd figured it was probably out of action given the way it just sat there completely motionless in the torrential rain. But then a bolt of lightning struck it right on the head. There was some whirring and grinding, and suddenly it was back to life. I was powerless to defend myself against it. It lifted me up like a baby bird and tossed me from the top of the cave. Luckily, amidst my frantic scrambling, I managed to duck into a cave at the foot of the cliff. It was out of his line of sight, so it gave up trying to find me. If not for that cave, it'd rip me to shreds, throw me to the ground, and then stomped on me. I don't even know what you'd call it by that point. Surely it must be well away from here by now. Even so, I can still hear the droning noises it made, like a swarm of bees buzzing around inside my head. I think I must have broken my arm because it hurts when I put any pressure on it. I hope that I will be able to manage, though. In any case, at my age, I need to grin and bear it. I mean, what would Dong Dong and his mother think of me if I didn't? Dang, this actually turned kind of intense. We're taking a sip at the end of every volume to help with it. Volume 4, genshin. Near the foot of the cliff, I ran into an herb gatherer who helped me set the bone. I almost passed out from the pain. But he did say that most passerbys he meets who have survived an encounter with a ruin guard tend to be less physically intact than I am. Every cloud has a silver lining, I guess. From above, genshin looks completely untouched by human activity. It's also shrouded in mist, and added to the mystery, it's impossible to know just how deep the mist goes. Strange noises can be heard coming from the stone forest. Whether it's illuminated beasts or celestial beings in there, I don't know. All I know is that it's made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. With any luck, I should be able to pick up a quality chunk of amber here, or maybe some highly praised medicinal herbs. I know that back in the day, many of the poor villager folks made their fortunes and built their lives in leeway by selling herbal medicine, so I see no reason why I couldn't do the same. It rained heavily in the evening, which meant the cliff face was too slippery to climb up. I also couldn't find my climbing rope or axe anywhere. I'm not the type to lose things so easily. I bet one of the monsters lurking in the mountains pinched it when I wasn't looking. Maybe it was a fox. After several days of fruitless searching, I finally found some good medicinal herbs, so I'm getting ready to head back. I wanted to do one final search, but this place is starting to creep me out. As soon as night falls, I keep thinking I see shadowy figures following me around everywhere. Also, the blood-curdling cries of some unknown species of monster are now coming from all directions, and they're getting closer. During my descent down the mountain, I came across an old wine bottle. I gave it a rinse with some spring water and found it in good condition. I bet Dong Dong would like it if I gave it to him as a souvenir. I'll just tell him it was a treasure given to me by an adeptus. That does scare me a bit, but it looks like things are actually going well. We'll see. Alright, Volume 5. Liyue Harbor. I sold the herbs at Boo Boo Pharmacy, made back everything I lost, plus a little extra. At this rate, I could buy a house in Liyue within the next few years, just in time for Dong Dong to settle in before we start school. If I'd studied harder when I was younger, I wouldn't have ended up getting involved with those scumbag treasure hoarders. I also wouldn't have squandered the inheritance my father left me. This makes me think I must get Dong Dong a good teacher who makes him study hard. I mean, that's the only way he'll make reliable friends and not end up like his wretched old man. So, for Dong Dong's sake, I can't give up now. I've got to find a way to make a good living. That said, I couldn't get the idea of making a quick fortune out of my head. So I tried my luck at the Jade Mystery. I hadn't intended on spending any money at a place like that, but the boss, Chito, was very persuasive. He talked me into putting all my money into it. I didn't do too badly. I cut open the stone I bought and found it to be higher quality jade. Then again, that one brief foray into the world of gambling of stones meant that I had to pawn the sickle and the medicine box I'd used for foraging for herbs. I'm penniless now. Sure, I got some good jade pieces from gambling on stones, but jade isn't easy to shift, so it looks like I'm back to survival mode again. I think I'll head overseas and see how it goes. I should try joining the Crux. Just hoping Captain Beto will take me on. I'll happily scrub the deck if it comes to it. I haven't eaten in 3 days. Alright, let's see. Jinren Island. After stealing a small boat from the pirate ship, I rowed for 3 days before finally reaching shore. From here, I see the legendary Takayama on the Narukami Island, along with the great sakura tree that grows on it. The colors of the sacred sakura are gentle in the moonlight. It makes me think of home. I wonder if Dong Dong feels lonely in Chinxi Village. I don't know if I made the right decision coming all this way just to make a living. It's probably me just getting old, thinking about all this nonsense. I stumbled upon a purple melon while exploring this remote island. It tasted astringent, rather lacked taste. My teeth and tongue turned purple from eating the skin, and it took a while for the color to fade, so I'll probably try cooking it next time. I've set up camp. At first light, I'll walk south. I heard the pirates say that that's where Inazuma is. There should be plenty of job opportunities in the city. Maybe I should give up the foolish idea of adventuring and, find a real job. When I've saved up enough money and bought my own house, I'll send for Dong Dong to live with me. Besides, the housing here is much cheaper than in Liyue Harbor. That's someone's diary. Strange story, really. I did not expect this. You know what? The video is 27 minutes, and I don't feel like I can really stop it quite yet. So we'll do one more one. Alright, this one's a lot shorter. And this one feels like I'm actually telling a story. I get together around kids, actually. I think almost every person who listens to this call is pretty much my age or older. So, give me a bit. I don't know if you hear me blowing on this, but this shit is still really hot. That is actually really nice. I'll have to let that cool more. I didn't take it out when it was boiling, okay? I just didn't know it would take this long to cool down. I would have guessed. Oh, well, Kenny, it's a thermos. Alright, you got me. Alright. The Legend of Vanessa. Friends of Mondstadt, let us revel. Drink to your heart's content. To freedom, to the Animal Archon, to Vanessa, the first knight to grace this world. Sons and daughters of Mondstadt, may the gift from the Animal Archon be engraved in your hearts. And let it be known that this gift is not freedom, but just defiance. It transpired in ages past. Friends, do not accuse me for improvising, for it should be clear as day that the glory and freedom of Mondstadt were born when Barbados struck the strings dulce. Poems sing of heroic fame, yet to commemorate unnamed freedom should they aim. Chained by the royals, Mondstadt could barely suspire, and festivities were but vanity games for the rich, beyond the grasp of ordinary people. A withering dungeon Mondstadt was, in slavery games the royalty gaily relished. Oblivious to their place, the inmates were. A fiery-headed dame confined to a cell, from the southern plains did she hail, born free but now bound by chains, though restrained by a tyrant her flesh remained. Still, her pious soul never ceased to pray, for her people, for Mondstadt, for elusive freedom, if she may. Friends of Mondstadt, let us revel, drink to your heart's content. The day came when Barbados answered her devotion. The Animal Archon sought her fiery hair and descended to her position. Every being deserves a name, the spirit grinned. To weave your fair name into a song I yearn. I seek nothing but your friendship in return." The girl happily reciprocated, her fears swiftly dissipated, and so to the battlefield she marched, to Barbados' singing voice. The demonic dragon fled from her might, and the people did rejoice. Corpulent aristocrats crawled under tables at such a valiant sight. Mondstadt is freedom. The winds sang for their people in delight. Lonely forest breezes converged. Jointly they overthrew the tyrant's tower from the sky. Broken free from shackles at last, the young lioness stood firm in the winds, with her head held high. And so the fiery-headed dame won herself prestigious fame. Her heart swelled with appreciation to sing by the animal archon's side. But no words of gratitude she would utter, Barbados replied. You first conducted what now transpires in your song. You have entrusted me with your friendship and your name. To praise your freedom, my songs came. Friends, let us drink some more, for thence flows the freedom of Mondstadt. When days become nights and faces fill with despair, never forget the heroic tales of Vanessa, the dame with the flaming hair. Never cease to pursue freedom, even when the land is bare. Vanessa, the first knight of Mondstadt. Alright, well, it's about time to call it. Thanks everyone for listening. I appreciate it. I hope to see you guys later. And I really do mean later. I have no idea when the next one's going to come up. So I hope, this helps you guys. I hope things are okay. My heart's out for those who are going through tough times. Things will get better. Put the effort in. Confide in those that you have confided in forever. Or find new people. Hope everyone has a great rest of their day. I have no idea how I ended this. Goodbye!